So we're looking at exercise 5D, and in this video we're looking at question 2, which says each of the following is the graph of a relation. So here they all are. The first part is asking us to state which are the graph of a function. Let's remind ourselves that a function is when each x value has only one corresponding y value. And to figure out whether something is a function or not, I use the vertical line test. The definition of which is if a vertical line can be drawn anywhere on the graph and it only ever intersects the graph a maximum of once, then the relation is a function. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a vertical line and come to A and sweep it across. And as you can see, I'm only ever going to intersect my graph once. So that means that A is a function. Then I'm going to come to B and sweep across my vertical line. And as you can see, I'm going to have more than one intersection point, which means that B is not a function. I'll then come to C, and as I sweep my vertical line across, I'm only ever going to have one intersection point, which means that C is a function. I'll then come to D, and as I sweep my line across, I'm only ever going to have one intersection point, so that means that D is a function. I'll come to E, and as I sweep my line across, I'm going to have more than one intersection point, which means that E is not a function. For F, F will be a function because it's only going to intersect my vertical line once, so F will be a function. So too for G. G will only ever intersect the line once, so G will be a function. And also H, as I sweep my line across, will have more than one intersection point, so therefore H will not be a function. So therefore A, C, D, F, and G will be my functions. Let me put my vertical line away and now come to the second part of this question, which is asking me this time to state which are the graph of a one-to-one function. Let's remind ourselves that for it to be one-to-one, it means different x values map to different y values. And to figure out whether something is a one-to-one function, I use the horizontal line test. Let's read the definition. It says, if a horizontal line can be drawn anywhere on the graph of a function, and it only ever intersects the graph a maximum of once, then the function is said to be one-to-one. Now, I stopped here and said function strangely because this is telling me that I only apply my horizontal line test for functions. So that means, as I come along, I come to A. A is a function, so I can apply my horizontal line test. And as I go along, I can see I have more than one intersection point. And because I have more than one intersection point, it isn't going to be a one-to-one function. When I come to B, well, B is only going to have one intersection point. But let's remember, I only apply my horizontal line test on functions. And we determined in the first part that B isn't a function because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. So this is very important, that I only use the horizontal line test to determine one-to-one functions if I know my graph is already a function. So I'm not going to do it for B, nor am I going to do it for E, nor am I doing it for H, because none of these pass the vertical line test, meaning that none of these were functions. So therefore, I'm not going to apply my horizontal line test. So let me grab my line and continue. For C, I'm only ever going to have one intersection point with my horizontal line, which means that C is going to be a one-to-one function. Then I come to D. D is going to have more than one intersection point, so it's not going to be a one-to-one function. We're not including E. E is not a function. F is going to have more than one intersection point with my horizontal line, so it's not going to be a one-to-one function. G will only have one intersection point. It will only ever have one intersection point, which means that G will be a one-to-one function. And I'm not going to look at H because H isn't a function. So having done that, we have now answered question 2, part 1 and 2, A, C, D, F, G for the first part, and C and G for the second part. Hopefully this was helpful and clarified when we don't use vertical line tests and horizontal line tests.